This might hurt some feelings, but caring how much a guy spends on a date is lower class coded. I feel like I'm in a pretty good position to say this. I've been lower class, I've been higher class, and I was surrounded by the elite long enough to know that they do coffee dates, they do walk dates, they have enough money and security themselves to not evaluate a guy based on how much he's spending on them. Now, of course, there's an element in dating of making sure that a guy is generous and hospitable. In my opinion, he should be paying on the date and he should be picking dates that he can pay for. But it's such a weird hyperfixation that the high value woman dating community has on what a guy spends on you, because it really just has no bearing on how he feels about you or how he'll be as a partner. And it's something that you only care about if deep down you know that this is just a farce that you're putting on. Because if you really could take yourself to nice restaurants, you wouldn't be so focused on a guy doing that for you. And of the extremely wealthy men I know, if a girl ever turned down a coffee date with them and tried to use one of those lines from the stupid dating coaches on here and was like, actually, I'm accustomed to more than a coffee date, then he'd kick her to the curb because she'd look like a gold digger. And he'd be right to do that because his future wife isn't someone who's going to be shallow or trashy like that. Now, the kicker here is that most people will date and end up marrying in their same social class. So it's really funny that all this high value woman dating advice is all about faking it till you make it. Because the thing is, these women aren't even faking it well. They're wearing Shein old money outfits that they saw on TikTok, and they're nickel and diming men thinking that that's how you pretend to be a rich person. And I'm not saying this to shame anyone's financial situation, but I will shame pretending to be something that you're not, especially when you treat people on your level like garbage in order to do it.
Before I forget,
again,
I needed to play that sound clip.
Again!
Now we can officially begin the video, which I really like what was stated in that intro on that TikTok. She was spitting a lot of facts. I think she was telling the really good, God honest truth out here about these high value women. I had a comment in the past that said, there is no such thing as a high value woman. And all I could think to myself when I read that comment was, I guarantee you this man was hurt by a woman. And I bet you he also believes in the whole idea of a high value man, which is completely hypocritical, which was also the main point of that TikTok, talking about the hypocrisies of these people who promote these lives and these lifestyles of being high value. The same people, just like in the red pill, who promote the lifestyle of being a high value man are the same crashed out dudes who be angry and screaming at women in the comments, out here bitching at them, sending them hate mail, sending them like death threats and stuff like that because they can't get the cheeks. It's the same thing with the women. Most of these women be out here putting on a facade. They are lying. They are scamming. They're out here trying to promote and sell courses to these women to prey on the fact that they have insecurities as well, just like the men. Every time there's anything that exists on one side of the spectrum, it's always going to be something on the reverse side. If something exists for men, there's going to be a program or a study or a course that's going to be on the exact side of the spectrum for women. Every time it's the exact same way. It never ends. And I'm telling you, the hypocrisies are crazy. And it's amazing that we're still talking about this heading into 2026 when it seems like these have been really huge talking points since the pandemic. And I mean, that was a while ago, you guys, in case people have forgotten. But I want to go through this TikTok one more time and just break it down slowly.
This might hurt some feelings, but caring how much a guy spends on a date is lower class coded. I feel like I'm in a pretty good position to say this. I've been lower class, I've been higher class, and I was surrounded by the elite long enough to know that they do coffee dates, they do walk dates, they have enough money and security themselves to not evaluate a guy based on how much he's spending on them.
Which means they actually have their own money and they actually have real value, which means they're actual high value women.
Now, of course, there's an element in dating of making sure that a guy is generous and hospitable. In my opinion, he should be paying on the date and he should be picking dates that he can pay for.
Which is very reasonable if you ask me.
But it's such a weird hyperfixation that the high value woman dating community has on what a guy spends on you, because it really just has no bearing on how he feels about you or how he'll be as a partner.
Which is absolute facts. Don't you realize it seems like all the time the people who spoil you the most in these relationships turn out to be the most monstrous in the end? It's because they usually lay down the foundation of, oh, you owe me. Don't you see all this money I'm spending on you? Then they turn into some sinister monster later.
And it's something that you only care about if deep down you know that this is just a farce that you're putting on.
Which is absolute facts. Because if you can actually carry your own weight, you're not going to care that much deep down.
Because if you really could take yourself to nice restaurants, you wouldn't be so focused on a guy doing that for you.
Facts again.
And of the extremely wealthy men I know, if a girl ever turned down a coffee date with them and tried to use one of those lines from the stupid dating coaches on here and was like, actually, I'm accustomed to more than a coffee date,
then she is for the streets.
Then he'd kick her to the curb because she'd look like a gold digger. And he'd be right to do that because his future wife isn't someone who's going to be shallow or trashy like that.
which is absolute facts. Unless he is one of those individuals who's never really had much success with women growing up, or they were a person who just really believed in tricking and not really seeing and reading the red flags and read all the terrible signs that exist, then yeah, more than likely they're going to value the actual good essence of a woman.
Now, the kicker here is that most people will date and end up marrying in their same social class. So it's really funny that all this high-value woman dating advice is all about faking it till you make it.
Which is facts. It's basically about becoming Brittany Renner. I mean, it's somebody who's out here scamming. You're not really of that type of lifestyle, but you lie. And you basically go out there and you scam. You cosplay being this person that actually has value. Essentially, they're no different than your everyday clock in 9-to-5 worker. Most of these people check somebody out that morning. Most of these individuals serve somebody a coffee. Most of these people were out there paving a mailbox. A lot of these people were out there directing traffic. Normal, everyday common folks, but they will cosplay at nighttime. They will put on a whole different costume, live an entirely different lifestyle, and just lie and pretend that there's somebody else that they're not.
Because the thing is, these women aren't even faking it well. They're wearing Shein old money outfits that they saw on TikTok, and they're nickel and diming men, thinking that that's how you pretend to be a rich person.
And I'm telling you, I see this stuff all the time in real life.
And I'm not saying this to shame anyone's financial situation, but I will shame pretending to be something that you're not, especially when you treat people on your level like garbage in order to do it.
As you should, in my opinion. I think you should call these people out and treat them like actual garbage. Because if they are going to have the nerve to treat you like garbage and they are on the exact same level as you, hell, sometimes even lower on the spectrum. Some of these people really know how to doctor it up real good. Listen, I used to date this chick one time, man. She was fine. She was clean, always smelled good and everything. And then I actually saw her establishment and I was like, yo, I don't know how you pull this off on a consistent basis. I don't know where you go to change and do all your other stuff, because you are really hiding this lifestyle really well, which is impressive. But I can't rock with this right now until you get a little bit more cleaned up. Like, I would be willing to help you, but I mean, I don't know you that well. I can't just be coughing up dollars like that. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not just going to trick off all the money I'm working hard for and try to save and live the lifestyle that I'm trying to live and build for the future. And I'm just tricking off my money for somebody who seems to have their priorities not quite in the right place yet. Good people though. But this lifestyle again continues to expose the hypocrisy in all the teachings of these fake gurus. And guess who said it best? The great Brandon Jamal, a person that I clowned on this channel about 1.5 years ago. It was one of my videos that actually got some of my better views. It was back then I was cooking. I was out there slaying them, mostly because I thought that the performance that he had out there on the Fresh and Fit podcast that afternoon was kind of shameful at the time. But honestly, when I look back on it in perspective, I was like, you know what? It wasn't good then, but then I actually followed him up as a content creator and I realized the dude really is talented. And honestly, he is just a big troll. He actually makes a lot of videos making a lot of good points. And some of the stuff that he said about single mothers, and mostly it was just a song as a parody because he is a troll, it was funny. It was funny. And then people started to try to expose him about a whole bunch of different stuff in his life. And people were sending me, messages and emails talking about expose Brandon Jamal more, expose him a little bit more. And I'm like, I'm trying to, dive into this, but I don't see anything, man. A lot of the people that are so-called exposing him seem like some real shady characters. And I know they were supposedly in his family, but just because they were in his family don't mean they were telling the truth. Like, those people did not seem trustworthy. So I had to rocks with what the charges were. He never got into any trouble and nothing ever seemed to pop up. So I think it was bullshit. And he seems like a decent content creator. He's really funny. Personally, I think me and him could get together and do some funny ass skits. I really do. Now, the whole concept of, him carrying out the diapers and now the whole binkies and stuff. Yeah. It's a little cringe, but it's his brand. It's the way he does things, and the way I do things might be a little cringe to other people. So I'm not here to judge that. He's got a lot bigger following than me because, hey, he's talented and obviously performs. But he did have some really compelling things to say about this stuff when it came to the hypocrisy of red pill men, because once again, these people are all in the same.
I want to get into my previous point about these red pill men being hypocrites. You see, all of your red pill men that y'all love so much have coming out to be just proven hypocrites. We got Myron and Walter. Those boys tell you to stay away from promiscuous women, and they both have pregnancy scares with sex workers. Not to mention Myron has come out to be a card-carrying racist, and the fact that black men especially, still interact with his content really shows why women don't respect men these days. Because why would you respect somebody who's a hypocrite and a racist and you know it, and you still watch him because you want to feel superior to women and other types of people? That's the whole thing about red pill. They've tapped into your need as a man to feel superior to people. You got your boy Cooley, who told us that single moms are recreational use only, how he's 6'4", black, makes over 100K a year, he's so high value, got with a whole Caucasian single mom of 2. Once again, y'all still watching because you like the way he talks. Y'all are like women that fall in love with R&B singers. You like his voice. You like the way he talks. So it doesn't matter that he's a hypocrite. Y'all are just like the women with Derrick Jackson. Y'all remember when Derrick Jackson came out and it came out that he was cheating on his wife? The fact that women still follow him is insane, correct? That's what I thought. And then we got this man, Andrew. Andrew's always talking about men and women, traditional this, traditional that, blah, blah, blah. And also just in general, he talks down to women all the time. How do you catch yourself talking down to women on a regular basis when your wife got all these children by different men? But you think you're better than other people.
Again, what's crazy is that this lifestyle promotes this ideology of somehow treating people less than when you are at the bottom of the barrel. It makes zero sense how you can put yourself up at the top of the pedestal, but yet you are a gremlin at the bottom. Like you are literally trying to dig yourself out from hell, because that's how low on the totem pole you are when it comes to actually being a decent human being. People with flaws, people who are trash internally, will go out here and actually trick themselves into believing that somehow they're high value because they heard a bunch of propaganda on the internet, and for whatever reason they go on to believe that that's actually who they are. Somehow all women are somehow inferior, no matter how much better they are than that actual guy. And the same thing goes for these women. It's the exact same thing. I mean, that's why all this stuff is really, it's crazy that so many people try to generalize so much shit out here on the internet, because you cannot generalize everything as a whole. Men are this, women are that. You just cannot do that shit, because it just doesn't make any sense, because that's how these people go out here and they get confused when reality dick slaps them in the face and they're like, oh my God, you're telling me all women aren't whores? No, they're not. There are actually women that actually are respectable, really good with their money, actually have principles about themselves, real morals. They actually have some form of actual self-esteem, unlike you, who has all these insecurities in the world, and that's why you project them out. That's why you're out here love bombing chicks and trauma dumping them when you're going out here on these dates, because you're still traumatized by the things of the past. And then somehow you don't think that that behavior from that trauma carries over to these relationships and causes you to crash out and put off some type of negative aura, some negative riz, and you don't understand that that is the reason why you cannot succeed. It's because maybe the people that you've been listening to are also delivering messages from anger, from hate, from trauma, from pain. That's why you don't get this stuff. And I'm telling you, man, it is crazy that we're still talking about this stuff today. And I agree, Courtney Ryan is the video or the content creator I got this stuff from, at least the initial clip. So like, she had the same point here. And it's just like, it's profound. Well, it's accurate. Also, random point back on Brandon Jamal. I'm still waiting to hear this man stutter. This man speaks very clearly and very well. The only thing, once again, that I ever discovered is that he had a lisp. And I'm still struggling to hear that. This dude speaks better than me. And he was out here crying on the internet last year. That's why I was also hating on you, homie. I'm sorry. But you know, it is what it is. All that stuff is irrelevant. I mean, it's just in the past. Who gives a shit about that? But that is why I was trying to clown him in the past. I'm like, bruh, you don't even stutter. You speak better than me. And you're over here like, I got to stutter. I'm like, no, you don't. Stop.
I just honestly can't believe that we're still acting like this. It's a little shocking. And unfortunately, this is not a new thing either. I've been talking about this for years on my channel. I will actually never forget one of the first videos I ever reacted to on this topic. It was a woman saying that she wouldn't accept coffee or walk dates because she's not a dog. She's not a dog that needs to be walked, and she can make coffee at home, I believe were her words. Don't quote me exactly. That clip went viral, it was a big thing, and I feel exactly the same way now as I did back then, and this was years ago. I personally think it's ridiculous, and this high-value woman dating content over on TikTok has really only amplified the problem. People just keep recycling the same bad advice over and over and packaging it like it's something new or empowering, but really, it just comes across as shallow and performative.
Which is why every day on social media, you see another 15 15,000 crashed out bum ass dudes trying to become red pill alpha male gurus out here on the internet. It happens every day. They continue to spawn up out of nowhere talking about true NPCs. It's like they just all serve the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing as these brothers who done sold their souls to be solo white supremacists. I mean, even though they black. I mean, it's crazy. The raccooneries, the Sly Coopers, all these people are the same NPC-like behavior. They don't say anything outside of the same 15 repeated lines over and over and over again. I don't know how they don't wake up and realize, like, damn, I'm just a bot. How do you not come to that realization? And that's the thing about this information. It's just repackaged and it's redone in a different way to put a different spin on it every now and then. So maybe somebody's like, ooh, oh my God, they said it a different way and I like the way it sounds coming out of his mouth. Just like the point that Brandon Jamal was making. Isn't it true? Because the same thing happens to these women. They get indoctrinated into believing and loving the stuff that some of these women say, because some of these women are really beautiful. Some of these women have very eloquent voices. Like, I'd love to hear them talk as I'm going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Just play a video in the background to help ease me to bed. You know what I'm saying? That's how soothing some of these voices are. And the same things come to these men. It's like, man, I really wish that's what my father sounded like. I need a daddy. I need him bad. And so they just adopt people like Charlie Kirk to be their, internet white zaddy. And then they end up being crashed out like these people. But Courtney Ryan also laid out some type of crazy example here in just a second, where she was going on to talk about one of her followers, and he had this date where this woman was obviously, chasing the same shit that she had been taught on the internet. And it's like, why are you just falling for this bait, homie? Like, you should see all the red flags, but a lot of guys be desperate out here.
To preface, they had a first date, they went out to eat, and she wanted to go to Michael's and buy art supplies because art was her hobby or something. And she had made it very clear when they were talking on the dating app before the date that a good budget for him to spend at Michael's was going to be $300. That right there was the first red flag, but he didn't reach out to me till after this. I would have given him a better warning. But a girl telling you that you're going to be spending $300 at Michael's on her, not the best.
As soon as she said that she needed $300 from Michael's, which, unless it was for this Michael right here, then you should have blocked her ass immediately after that. There's no need to respond anymore. Like, that's the point where you hear that comment that's like, I can't do that. I'm sorry. This chick is trifling. That's what she is. Well, I mean, it's not going to stop at that $300. I hope you don't really think that, oh my, that $300 is going to be the only thing that she needs. No, it's going to become a lot more. $300 is not a low number, especially amongst us everyday common folks. Most people don't have $1,000 in their savings account in case of an emergency. Do you think everybody's just walking around here with $300 to just give you to go to Michael's? For what? So you can put out some shitty art on some canvases, probably? Just splatter that shit all over the place and pretend it's good and be like, this is my life's work. No, it's trash.
So they had their first date. They're supposed to meet up again. He follows up with her to make sure the timing is still good. And essentially she tells him that she doesn't think that he can afford her, and proceeds to say the following: I'm interested, but I don't think you can afford me. It seems like you're getting started with life, and I'm used to a certain lifestyle that you're unable to provide. I'm not going to read all of this, but I'll give you some snippets that I think just paint the picture here. If we're in a committed relationship, then I expect a lot more from you, including covering my rent, covering my shopping, beauty appointments, etc. When it comes to dating, I do want my car, phone bill, and art hobby covered, so I know that you're serious about me. I use my car to come see you and my phone to communicate with you. I fully expect the person I'm dating to take care of my car note, phone bill, and art supplies every month. You already covered the art supplies, which was a great start, but you mentioned you want to get to that point, and I thought you implied that you weren't there yet or were unable to. Am I wrong? Just being crazy.
Absolute diddy shit crazy. I mean, that is loony. I had a hard time letting that clip finish because I wanted to cut it off after she said I need all this month for my art supplies, bills, and all this stuff. Like, whoa. As soon as you hear that, you should know immediately that chick is broke as hell. She is about 5 minutes away from going homeless. Like, she might not even have a car. This chick probably don't even have a place to stay. As far as you know, that chick is bumming off of one of her friends' couches right now with the same about 4 or 5 outfits that she's gonna have to put on repeat nonstop, decorating herself up with perfume and all sorts of shit to mask up that funk that she's got underneath. No. This chick is broke as hell. Anytime you hear that kind of nonsense, they don't have anything to their name. None. Because true high value women do not have these expectations. They just don't, because they're smart enough and aware enough to realize what's going out there in the world. Realizing that most everyday people don't have that kind of money, and that kind of person is more than likely low value because they have no self-esteem. They don't respect themselves enough to have any type of boundaries to be like, you know what, I respect myself enough to be like, I'm not going to give you all of my money that I worked hard for. Most women who are intelligent, most women who care about people are not going to do you like that. They're just not. And I mean, it was obviously too late for this poor brother here, but I guess he just took a mad L here. But man, how does this just keep going on? Like, I understand people be desperate out here, but you just can't be that desperate. You can't. And I mean, I'm never going to fault anybody who falls down that, trap, and they tried their best and they end up just taking a mad L in the end, and they end up with their dick in their hands and blue balled and all this stuff like that. It's a travesty. But ultimately, you need to have some self-respect, guys. Like, and everybody, and women too. Stop allowing yourself to just get did dirty by people for no reason. Sometimes you can date somebody and you just come to the, realization that maybe this person ain't a fit for me. That's cool. It can be mutually beneficial on both ends to just cut ties. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it can really work out best. Move on, let bygones be bygones, but don't end up like these crashed out people. Get off the internet. When you find out your mind is being radicalized, when you find out or realize, because it might take a while, but some of these people do eventually wake up one day and realize that, yo, I have been truly red pilled, and that's not a good thing. No matter how people want to repackage that message, red pill used to apparently be something good, but then eventually it just became why women deserve less. That's what it ended up being. A trash movement that ends up promoting, toxic masculinity and hating bitches. Like, I mean, that's all it is. That's all red pill is now. So anybody out here trying to say that's not what red pill is, it's like, dude, just quit. Please quit. You sound sad. And more than likely you are one of these people that we're talking about in this video. But I hope you enjoyed it. And I know I talked a lot, but this felt like a pretty decent video to put out here. Very valuable. Shout out to Brandon Jamal. You know what I'm saying? No shame. Coming from here. Yeah, good content creator. And thank you, Courtney Ryan, as well. See you soon.